Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Monica Corrado here, the Gap Chef. I am here to answer your questions. Again, Monica Corrado, the Gap Chef. What can I tell you? I'm not a medical doctor. My website is simplybeingwell.com. I hope you visit me there. And my desire during this time is to answer your questions according to the GAPS protocol. So I am a teaching chef and I am the lead faculty for teaching cooking techniques for the GAPS diet in Dr. Natasha's certified GAPS coach classes or trainings and certified GAPS practitioner trainings. Anyway, so my desire is answer your questions here. Hello, Dawn. Good to see you. Hello, Cindy. Good to see you. Good to see everyone. All right, so today what I thought I would do is go through some of the questions that have come up through our through the page. We have many questions that are waiting to come through, and I thought it might be a really good idea to go through some of them today in order to get them answered quickly and easily. So I'm going to actually bring it up on my phone, the page, since I can't do both on my computer at the same time. Hold on. La 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 la. I'll sing to you. La 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 la. Singing. It's good to sing. It keeps your heart happy. Okay, so I'm going to get to the page, our page. And of course, always feel free to throw some questions in there into the chat if you have questions. Happy to answer them. I'm going to go ahead and look at these questions and then start answering them one by one as soon as they come up. Okay, pending approvals. Okay, so I'm just going to start, and here we go, and then feel free to jump in with additional questions, etc. All right, do you think plastic funnels would be heat resistant? Let's just talk about plastic in the kitchen. I really encourage you to get rid of all plastic in the kitchen, whether it says it's BPA free or not. The less plastic you have in the kitchen means the less endocrine disruptors you have, which means the less toxins you have and the less battle you're fighting with the GAPS diet trying to get better. So let's try to take as many toxins out of your world, out of the kitchen, out of the bathroom, out of your makeup bags, out of your body products, out of your cleaning detergents, laundry. Just the less toxins, the better. And Dr. Natasha talks a lot about this in the Blue Book. I would really take a look at that, about why it's so important to take toxins out. And then, as many of you know, I've said it over and over again, we want to make sure that we are having a detox protocol right alongside the nutrition, right? We need both. Detox, 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 and nutrition, 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 both. So that's my very long answer to, do I think plastic funnels would be heat resistant? I was talking with a client just yesterday. The two things that should absolutely not be in the kitchen are aluminum and plastic. Aluminum, if you have any aluminum pots, please throw them away. We should be cooking in cast iron. We should be cooking in stainless steel, 1810, 1808 stainless steel. We should be cooking in glass, Pyrex, things like that, Visions. That's really what we should be cooking in. So do not cook in aluminum. I know many people have stock pots made of aluminum. Please, you will be having Alzheimer's while, sorry, it's a terrible thing to say, while trying to heal your child of autism and other brain function disorders. So no plastic in the kitchen, and certainly no plastic plus heat. No aluminum plus heat. We don't want any heat, right? With aluminum or with plastic. So the less plastic in your kitchen, the better. Hello, Natasha. Good to have you with us. All right, let's see. I'm going through questions. Next question. Can I grate ginger and give in water for my child 15 minutes before a meal? Will it work? So I think the will it work part has to do with will it work? Ginger is what we call a prokinetic herb. A prokinetic. Pro means help or encourage kinetic movement. So it's very, very good for the digestion. Often when people come to me and say, I'm constipated, I'm having constipation, I have slow bowel movements, I have slow digestion, ginger is an answer to that. So everyone should be having ginger tea if you're on, certainly on the intro diet, ginger tea during the day, 2 or 3 cups. And yes, you can absolutely grate ginger into water. So hot water, grated ginger, easy way. Let it steep for a couple of minutes and then drink. I did go over the teas. There's a video on YouTube. Ask the Gap Chef the teas. So I talk about ginger tea and chamomile tea and ginger, chamomile. What else do we talk? Peppermint tea, which are the 3 Gaps teas. If you want to learn more about how to make ginger tea, there's several different ways you can make it. And yes, you could definitely do that. I encourage ginger for anyone who's having slow digestion or difficulty with bowel movements, constipation, etc. Really good way to keep things moving, as ginger is a prokinetic. Okay, that one's done. So everyone that I'm answering your questions, you're going to get a decline because I just answered them live. All right. Here we go. Anissa asks, when do I move from medium roast to light roast or even stronger coffee enema? I am due to buy coffee. Thanks in advance. She was going to buy coffee 2 days ago, so I'm probably a little late here. All right. So here's the deal, folks. The darker the roast, the more the caffeine. The lighter the roast, the less the caffeine. Am I right? Hold on. Dark roast has more caffeine. No, dark roast has less caffeine. All right, I'm wrong. I got it backwards. In any case, how do you know when to move? Your body will tell you. On Gaps, I will say it all the time. Dr. Natasha says it all the time. Listen to your body. It is very wise. So how do you know? You could try the next roast, and then you could see how you do. If it's too strong, you'll know, and then you'll need to back up. If it's just right for you, then you'll know that also. All right. All right, let's see what the next one is. Hope that's helpful. All right, so if anyone has questions about kefir, K-E-F-I-R, you can look up in the featured posts part of this page. I have several culturing dairy resources there for you. We remember that kefir or kefir you can make with grains. You can make with a starter packet. You can make with a previous batch. Yeah. So go ahead and figure out which is the best for you, meaning which works easiest for you when you're first starting to bring in kefir. So that's the kefir question. There is a fruit kvass question from Alice. Alice asks, 2 jars made the same day. One is taut, one is not. Been on the counter for the same amount of time. So one of the things we want to remember with lacto fermentation, everyone, I just went through this with the coaches last week, is that you want to make sure that, so many things. How many things come into play with lacto fermentation? The temperature of the room. Is it 68 to 72 Fahrenheit? That's important. If it's less than 68 Fahrenheit, sorry for all you internationals, if it's less than 68 degrees Fahrenheit, it's going to take longer to ferment. If it's warmer than 72 degrees Fahrenheit, I think that's 20 to 22 Celsius, I think. Check that. Then it's going to ferment faster. So in terms of fermentation, folks, temperature counts a lot. So watch the temperature in the room, number one. Number two, I'm talking about exact same batches, right? The next thing you want to look at is what's going on with the ring around the jar, the lid. If you're using a two-piece lid and that ring or the piece inside, the little round piece inside, is old, right? Maybe it's old on one jar and not old on the other jar, then it's going to make a difference in fermentation, right? It's not going to get a good tight seal. We remember that lactofermentation is, right? Lactofermentation is anaerobic, no oxygen. So if you had two different types of lids, one older, one newer on your jar, that can result in different fermentation times between two jars. What else? She asks about raspberries going gray. So all of your beautiful, raspberries and other fruit in fruit kvass or any other lactoferment that you are making can turn color, will turn color. You know when you, right, just use your eyeballs to look at the color of sauerkraut that you first put up and then sauerkraut that you made that's been sitting in the fridge, or maybe that's done. That's going to be a very different color than the original sauerkraut, right? So raspberries turning gray, they will normally turn gray in a fruit kvass. So do make fruit kvass, Kvass. Dr. Natasha has the recipe in both the yellow book and the blue book. I have the recipe in my book. It's really very easy. It's a quart jar. It's a handful of fruit in the bottom. It's a half a cup of whey, no salt, all water. Boom. Then you watch the lid to see when it becomes taut. Very good to make. So you can eat that fruit, but it's going to be just pretty much fiber. Maybe not fiber, but it's just the fruit left. All the sugar has been eaten by the microbes, so it won't be sweet anymore. I actually suggest that you compost it when you pull it out of fruit kvass. But fruit kvass is a wonderful, wonderful thing for you to serve your children. You could put ginger in it for a little bit of spiciness. You could put lemon in it. You could put all sorts of fruits, all sorts of vegetables, and make all sorts of yummy things for your kids. All right. Let's see. What else have we got? Looking at kefir grains, folks. Remember that kefir grains should look like little cauliflower. They should look like little cauliflower. They should look like little brains. They should be nice and knobbly. If they're coated, it just means they need to be rinsed. So B Latin has a question about our kefir grains. Kefir. Are my kefir grains okay? They've been hibernating in milk in my fridge for the past week. I call that a milk hotel. All right. Before that, they've cultured one batch. So her grains are looking very coated. So you just want to rinse them off. And Cultures for Health, which is usually where I suggest people get their kefir grains online, Cultures for Health, or of course, get them from a friend, get them from a neighbor, get them from a family member, get them from Weston A. Price Foundation chapter near you. That's the better way to get them. But they talk about making sure that you're only using plastic for straining, not metal. So just rinse them off. You can also rinse them off in your hand, as long as your hand is clean. No sanitizer, please. That'll kill them, right? Just wash your hands with soapy water. Stick your hands into your kefir, pull the grains out, rinse them off with nice, cool, clean, filtered water. Remember, folks, I've talked about this before. Water is important. I think I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Water is important. Water. What's the water you're drinking? What's the water you're cooking with? What's the water you're rinsing your grains with? If you're rinsing your grains with chlorinated water, you have killed them. Ah, the scream. So you don't want to rinse your grains in chlorinated water. You want to rinse them in filtered water. You want to rinse them in spring water if you're lucky enough to have a spring near you, etc. All right, so remember to rinse your grains if they need to be rinsed. You should be able to see all the little knobblies of the cauliflower. That's what they look like. All right, next question. Sharon asks, I hope I said that right, can we add kefir in a detox pressed juice? Yes, but when you add kefir, you're really on your way to a GAPS shake, which is fine. But remember that GAPS shakes are supposed to have fat in them. And if you make milk kefir, I'll say it differently. Kefir cream would be better in a shake because of the level of fat. But yes, of course you could do that and would be yummy too. All right. Here's another question. Then I'm going to take some from all of you. Do you think it's okay to reuse a pot? This is from Alicia. Straight away after cooking something. For example, I cook some chicken breast in a pot. First of all, chicken breast is not really a good GAPS food. Did I say that? I did. Chicken breast is white meat. There's nothing to it but muscle. So again, if you're on full GAPS, it's fine, but let's all remember that we're supposed to be getting nutrition into the body, and muscle meat does not equal nutrition. In fact, yeah, we should probably talk about that at some point, right? There's more nutrition in this much liver than there is in an entire steak. Just saying. And I hope everyone is having organ meat every day, especially on intro. That's another GAPS principle that many people sort of just whoop. I don't see it. I don't really want to do it. I don't like it. Doesn't taste good. Organ meat every day. Okay. One more time. So, do I think it's okay to reuse a pot, I'm reading, straight away after cooking something? For example, I cook some chicken breast. We hope next time it will be chicken thighs in a pot, and straight after I boil some fish. Do you think that is okay? Will it damage the pot? It has nothing to do with damaging the pot. It won't damage the pot. You're just mixing proteins, which, I mean, rinsing is fine. You may have some taste of chicken in your fish. Not really that big a deal, but it certainly will not damage the pot. No problem there. All right. One more. Oh, yeah. And then I'm going to take all the questions that are in the comments. Okay. Please tell me why. That's a capital W-H-Y. Sorry. You know you're yelling when you capitalize things, right, folks? All right. Please tell me why my teen has very recently developed pronounced OCD behaviors, right? OCD, when we've been full GAPS for 6 months and not introduced anything new except trace minerals. I highly suggest to everyone that you go and watch my video that's about the challenges of full GAPS. In fact, I just wrote a blog about it. I just wrote an article about the difference between full GAPS and intro and the positive, I don't even say positive, negative, but certainly there are many challenges with full GAPS in terms of healing. So I invite all of you, please take a look at that if you think it would be helpful to you. I think it would be helpful to you to learn a little bit more about what are the challenges of full GAPS, because in terms of healing. So the first thing I want to say to people is do intro. Now that's the word according to Monica. Dr. Natasha has said and will continue to say that you can get a lot of healing on full GAPS. Yes, but it depends, to me, it depends on, I don't know. Full GAPS is pretty loosey-goosey to me. There's a lot of stuff in there that people that really want to be healing, I know all of you want to be healing, so I shouldn't say it that way, but the people that have, like, symptoms they really want to clear, deep healing to happen, intro. If you can do it, if you know the cooking techniques, and you have the time, and, you have the ability, and you could take some time off, really, 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 folks, do the intro diet. So I have a blog on simplybeingwell.com. I invite you to read that. I have a video on YouTube, Ask the Gap Chef, Challenges of Full Gaps. You may want to watch that, all of you, because I have to say, folks, there are a lot of people out there who are doing full gaps and then they ask, why isn't my child healing? Why are their symptoms coming back? Why are we not moving forward? Why haven't we got enough, enough gains, enough traction? And I say, go do intro. Because full gaps has a lot of places where you can really continue feeding pathogens. Namely, there are nuts on full gaps. There are seeds on full gaps. There's fruit on full gaps. So when people ask me, why is my child not healing? I say, I have to get more information. That's why I consult with people, right? So what are you really doing? What are you doing? Like, what are you eating? Are you having enough fat? Are you having enough ferments? Are you having too much fruit? Are you having enough meat stock? These are all questions to be thinking about. So when people, anyone, young person, teen, child, adult, has symptoms show up that they haven't had show up before on full gaps, I say probably you want to do intro. That's what I say. Did you see the eyebrows? Probably you want to do intro diet, because if you went from standard American diet to full gaps, yes, you will see some healing because you've taken out all the garbage. You've taken out the GMOs. You've started eating organic and grass-fed. You've taken out the sugar. You've taken out the processed food. All of those things are going to result in healing. And if you have symptoms or you have health concerns, you have energy levels that aren't going up, you have things showing up that haven't shown up before, that just says that you're ready for deeper healing. All right, I hope that's helpful. All right, so let's go here. I'm going to go now to our fabulous, thank you, welcome to everyone that's with me today. All right, welcome, welcome. Dawn, I was in Maryland last week. I was driving around looking for our new place to live. Anyway, okay. So Dawn asks, I think I know the answer to this, pardon me, but I like to make up small containers of yogurt in advance for a few days for my hubby and myself. This is a mix of 3 different respiratory, glycerin, regular yogurts, and kefir. Is it okay for them to sit together like this for a few days? Absolutely. Although the kefir will probably take over. I did say that. So you either make up all your yogurt and throw the kefir in at the end. It probably doesn't matter, and more kefir the merrier for anybody, right, in terms of healing. So you're probably fine, Dawn. I love that you're doing that. I hope you're well, and that is fabulous. And boy, isn't your hubby lucky to have you. Yes, he is. All right, Natasha says, I put ginger peeled peas while cooking the meat stock. Great idea. I love that. You can absolutely put ginger in the meat stock and then just strain it out. Great idea. All right. Dawn says, FYI, thank you for all you have done. You're welcome. Finally did it. 2.5 years later of not tolerating any stock, I can now have 4 cups a day. Dawn, you have made my day. That's fantastic. I've got goosebumps. Hooray! Let's all celebrate with Dawn. It has been a long and winding road. So happy for you. I am thrilled. I really do. I have goosebumps. I'm thrilled to hear it. Blessings on your journey. May you continue to get well. I'm thrilled for you. So thrilled to hear. Hooray! Hooray for Dawn. Everybody needs to be clapping for Dawn. I know that I'm clapping for Dawn. I'm thrilled for you. Okay. Dawn says, I have always learned to use light roast, especially from the Gerson protocol. Great. Use light roast. I think I just flipped it in my brain. So light roast, great. I love it. Gerson knows coffee enemas, folks. The Gerson folks know coffee enemas. If you have any questions about coffee enemas, go to Gerson, Gerson. Thank you for that, Dawn. All right, Natasha says, my son keeps coughing on and off for about 6 months now. I've been coughing since November. I keep making him elderberry tea. It helps a little, but not a solution. Any advice? I advise that you go and read the chapter on the liver and the lungs in the blue book. Dr. Natasha talks about lung health there and how to support it. We remember that depends on where that cough is coming from. Sorry, I assumed it was lungs. Never assume. All right, so if it's lungs, then we're talking about the lungs clear fat-soluble toxins, or is the cough in the pharynx and larynx around the throat, right? Voice box. That's where mine is. Or is the cough from the sinuses? Like, where is it is really the question. So if it's sinuses, again, I'm not a medical doctor, so please get with some fantastic homeopathics people that are trained in homeopathics. They will have some answers for you about that. Find out what they say. Talk to some fabulous herbalists. Find out what they say. We've got herbs. We've got homeopathics. We've got lots and lots of things that could be helpful. I would suggest that anyone that has a cough in the lungs do castor oil packs on the lungs. And also do steams. That means hot water. Of course, you shield the eyes. Hot water in a bowl with essential oils. Very good for breathing into the lungs to help the lungs move this out. And then I would look, Natasha and everyone else, I would look to where in your area or what in your area. I'll start differently. So I'm currently living in Colorado. In Colorado, there are a blend of herbs. There are 2 or 3 herbs that are very specific to the respiratory tract for people living in Colorado. So I would say, and Dr. Natasha would say also, what are the remedies in the area that you live? Go there and find out, what do people use in your part of the country, in your part of the world for respiratory. Also, just so people know, I've talked about this before. Maybe we'll do a respiratory thing come September, because I think we're going to need to. People need to know what to do about colds that come in and respiratory things in the fall. Garlic. Garlic is specific to the respiratory system. So what does that mean? That means that you can give roasted garlic. You can give fermented garlic. You can press garlic into every cup of meat stock, which we're supposed to be doing anyway, right? So garlic. You can steep garlic in water, put in a little bit of lemon and some honey, and now you've got garlic lemonade. That's also, I think, on my website. Not sure. In any case, so I would be figuring out, where is the problem. Is it in the lungs? Is the cough in the lungs? Then treat the lungs. Is the cough coming from the throat? Still, steams would be very good, etc. Or is it something like postnasal drip coming down from the sinuses? Those are 3 different areas, and you would treat them differently. Regardless, garlic will help. Yeah, regardless, garlic will help. Okay. Hope that's helpful. All right, Paloma. Hello, Paloma. I made meat stock last night, and I accidentally used a dirty spoon to stir it before putting it in my jars. Did I spoil my meat stock? You're fine. I don't know how dirty it was. I mean, dirty spoon meaning you cooked it something else with it, or like dirty spoon meaning you ate it and then you stuck or was it dirty because it was sitting outside in the ground? Like, it all depends. If there was dirt on the spoon, then yeah, we've got a problem. If it was food used for stirring something else, you don't have a problem. Even if it was something that you ate, like you licked the spoon and put it in, just bring that stock to a boil right before you serve it. You'll be fine. I'm not God. I can't guarantee anything, but in terms of how these things work, you should be fine as long as you bring it to a boil before serving it. And another option actually is to leave it in the refrigerator over time like over a week. Leave it in the refrigerator for 3 to 5 days and see if mold starts growing. If it does, throw it out. You do not want to be drinking stock if there's mold on it. Okay, let's see what's next. I hope that's helpful. You're welcome, Natasha. All right, hello, Dill. Woohoo! Dill, I know. I've seen your questions around there. Every once in a while I see questions on other groups, you know, because I'll jump in and throw my 3 cents in, whether people want it or not. Oops. Okay, so yes, here is the deal. The first thing people should do, I'm not going to should on anybody. The first thing I suggest is to get David Bronstein's book about iodine and read it, right? That is a doctor. He's a medical doctor. It's a book that he's written, and I would read that book. David Bronstein. Brownstein? Maybe it's Brownstein. B-R-O-W-N. Yeah. Steen. S-T-E-I-N. I hope I haven't butchered it. But it's all about iodine. Read that first before you do anything, because that's a medical doctor talking about iodine. He talks about how to take it internally, etc., etc., etc. Next, Dr. Natasha talks about iodine paint. You're all familiar with that, right? It's in the blue book. It's in a little box on the right-hand side. I don't have the book with me right here, right now. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, no, I don't. I have the yellow one. I have the green one. I do not have the blue one. It's behind me. Anyway, she talks about painting. So one of the things that you can do while you're reading the book is to get a roller ball, which is a glass essential oil container. Really, you can buy them on the web, etc. Dark glass, brown or blue. Fill it up with iodine, 2% to 5%. Usually, GAPS practitioners suggest first 2%. Dr. Natasha does also. And paint. Roll it on. Roll it on in the morning. The next day, roll it on the other. You don't want contact. You don't want to get sensitive in one area. So roll it on the left wrist. Roll it on the right wrist. Roll it on in the abdomen. Roll it on the other side of the abdomen. Then go back. Left wrist, right wrist. Right, every day you're rolling. When you see that your paint is dried up here after 3 hours, paint more over here. We want to keep painting. Dr. Natasha says that the skin, when we put it on the skin, so let me start in a different place. When we paint iodine on the skin, we are allowing the body to absorb what it wants as it wants. Right? So if you need it fast, your body will absorb it in 2 to 3 hours. Or it will absorb it over 8 hours, or it will absorb it over 10 hours, right? Absorbing over time. Yeah? When you take iodine internally, you've now told the body, here's the iodine. So it's a different type of thing. Dosing iodine can be difficult, meaning figuring out how much iodine you should be taking. What does your body need? So I work only with standard process supplements. I don't work with other ones. And I work with their iodine, which is protein-bound iodine. It's called prolamine. And according to Dr. Royal Lee, iodine is not able to be used by the body unless it is bound to protein. Now, you can check it out for free. What did Dr. Royal Lee have to say about iodine on the free historical archives of Saline River Press? That's actually my publisher, SELENE riverpress.com. They have historical archives. You can search. I was about to say Google. God bless me. You can search iodine and to see what he had to say there. I hope that's helpful. You may be very iodine deficient, and most people are, especially if you don't eat a lot of seafood and you don't live near the beach. All right. Hello, Akusha, beautiful. Akushika, I'm sorry. I'm butchering your name. I apologize. Please, do we paint iodine on the skin for a specific reason, or all those on gaps must do it? I would read the yellow or blue book. Dr. Natasha talks about iodine. Her understanding is that most people are deficient in iodine, and so it's a good idea to paint just to see where you are, right? If you absorb iodine within 15 minutes, you are highly deficient. If a human being absorbs iodine within 24 hours, we are considered deficient. Therefore, we need to supplement with iodine. Now, the difficulty is that we're getting complicated. The thyroid, every gland needs a different mineral, yeah? So, the thyroid, your thyroid needs iodine. However, when we're toxic, the receptors of the thyroid get blocked or are blocked, right? So if we eat a lot of glyphosate, there it is again, glyphosate. Where do we find glyphosate? Glyphosate may just be a U.S. problem. I don't think so. But I know they do not use glyphosate on crops in the UK or in the EU, or in Europe, pardon my using the wrong term, but in Europe they don't use a lot of glyphosate. But in the US, glyphosate is like everywhere. So glyphosate can block the receptors on the thyroid, and therefore you will show that you are iodine deficient. You may sit there taking iodine. That may be what's going on, Dill. Frankly, this is why it gets to be a little bit kooky. If your receptors on your thyroid are blocked, then, hold on, I'm writing this down. If they're blocked, then your body will continue to call for iodine like you never get enough. You'll never have enough. Why? Because your thyroid receptors are blocked, and the body will say, I need more, 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 I need more. Because it can't get what it needs because the receptors are blocked, right? So those are the places I would look at. I would look at Saline River Press, Historical Archives for more about iodine, and Dr. Royal Lee. And I would also read Dr. Brownstein's book on iodine, and I would go back and look at what Dr. Natasha has to say. I am not a medical doctor, folks. I am not a naturopathic doctor, so I can't speak too much about, I will never speak about dosing internally iodine because it's not in my purview, if you will. But you can eat seaweed. You can put seaweed, kelp, or kombu in your meat stock. Pardon me, there's my cough. When you, thank you, Dawn. Fabulous. It is Brownstein. Amen. You can put kombu or kelp in meat stock. It's the same thing. They call it two different things. It's the same thing. Kelp, K-E-L-P, kombu, K-O-M-B-U. You can put a 2-inch piece in your meat stock, strain it out before you drink it. That will help put iodine in your meat stock. You can eat seaweed full gaps. You can eat seaweed full gaps. Just those seaweed sheets. You can eat seaweed as long as it's clean. There's another natural way to get iodine. We always suggest, we meaning Gapsters, we meaning GAPS practitioners and GAPS coaches will always say, start with food first. Start with food, eat the food. Food is healing. That's where we go first. All right, I can take one more question. If anybody's got one, I'm happy to know it. If anyone wants to throw it in the comments. I will be here next week. I apologize, I was in the air last Tuesday, so that was that. Flying yet again. But next week is the 9th of July. Oh my God, where did July go? Where's the summer going? Full-time summer, folks. Summertime. Summertime. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go, everybody. So wonderful to be with you today. I will be getting on the page answering questions that have stacked up over the last week during my travel. Oh, there she goes. Still got the last one under the wire. My husband has amalgam fillings. We want to try for... Don't try for a baby, just have one. Sorry. How can we minimize the side effects of his amalgam fillings on the baby? You can have him remove the fillings before you conceive. I mean, so right, good, better, best. What's optimal? What's optimal is go to a biological dentist and have the amalgam fillings removed properly, and then do a detox after that, and then do the GAPS diet for a year or two, and then think about conceiving. I mean, that's the best, right? No amalgams. Mercury equals bad idea. However, I mean, how many people in the world have mercury fillings? A lot, especially if you're born in like 1940 to 19 and above, and yeah, you're going to have mercury in your mouth. So the next option, of course, I'm assuming that both you and your husband are doing a very strong detox protocol. Castor oil packs on your liver every night, detox baths. Perhaps you're taking zeolite. Perhaps you are, certainly you've been on GAPS for a couple of years, right? Nobody's putting anything into the body that has mercury in it or any other heavy metals. So, I'm sorry to say the real answer is he should take them out of his mouth before you conceive. And we know that's expensive. We know it takes time. So, as with everything, folks, Dill and everyone else, look at the broad picture. Look at the big picture, right? The big picture, meaning how toxic is he? How toxic are you? What is the state of his microbiome? What's the state of your microbiome? Right? Does everybody have a nice robust gut biome? Are you putting kefir, both of you, populating your genitals with kefir? I mean, Dr. Natasha talks about that all the time. You want to have a healthy baby? You start populating the groin with kefir front to back every night. So there's a lot of things to think about when you're thinking of having another child. And many of those things, and do the best that you can. Always do the best that you can, and then bless it and go. That's what I say over and over. Hope that was helpful. All right, folks, good to be with you. Blessings on all of your journeys, blessings on your efforts, and I wish you well this week. And always, you're welcome, Dill. All right. Be well, everyone. Take good care of yourselves. Take good care of each other. And remember, there's nothing serious going on here. Get a little bit lighter, a little bit happier, and focus on what is working, is what I say over and over again. Focus on what is working. What is working, yeah? Okay. Be well, everyone. Bye now.